Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a red apple. Did you hear the word apple in your mind, or did you simply see it? Maybe you imagined its shape, its color, the texture of its skin, or even the feeling of taking a bite. But notice something strange. Your brain created a thought without needing to speak. This raises a fascinating question. Can you actually think without language? For most of us, thinking feels like talking silently inside our heads. We have conversations with ourselves, we plan our days, we replay old memories, and we solve problems using words. But what if language is not the source of thought? What if words are only one tool your brain uses to understand a much bigger world of ideas? The truth is more surprising than most people imagine. For a long time, people believed that language and thought were almost the same thing. After all, when you have a complex idea, you usually explain it with words. If you want to describe a scientific discovery, tell a story, or share a belief, language is one of humanity's greatest tools. But the human brain existed long before complex language developed. A newborn baby cannot speak, yet it can recognize faces, remember voices, feel emotions, and learn about the world. A person who has never learned a language can still understand danger, recognize beauty, and solve simple problems. This suggests something important. Thought existed before words. Language did not create the ability to think. Instead, language became a powerful system for organizing, expanding, and communicating thoughts. One of the clearest examples of thinking without language is visual thinking. Imagine you are trying to arrange furniture in a room. Before moving anything, you might picture where the sofa would go, how much space it would take, and whether everything would fit. You didn't need to say, "The sofa should move 3 meters to the left because the table needs more space." Your brain simply created a mental image and worked with it. Many creative people describe their thinking this way. Artists often see an image before creating it. Engineers imagine machines before building them. Architects visualize entire buildings before a single line is drawn. The famous physicist Albert Einstein once described thinking in terms of images and feelings before translating ideas into mathematical language. For many problems, the brain works more like a simulator than a narrator. It creates pictures, patterns, and possibilities. Words come later. Another clue comes from animals. Animals do not communicate with human language, but they clearly think. A dog can remember its owner. A bird can solve puzzles. A chimpanzee can use tools. An octopus can escape complicated environments. These creatures don't have human sentences running through their minds, yet they can learn, make decisions, and adapt. Their thoughts are likely made of sensations, memories, emotions, and patterns. This shows that intelligence does not require language. Language is one form of intelligence, not the definition of intelligence itself. But then why do so many humans feel like they are constantly talking inside their heads? This inner voice is called inner speech. It is the voice you hear when you read silently, plan something, or argue with yourself. Inner speech is extremely useful. It helps us organize complicated ideas. It allows us to imagine the future. It helps us reflect on our own behavior. For example, when you tell yourself, "I need to finish this project before tomorrow," you are using language to control your actions. But not everyone experiences thoughts this way. Some people report having very little inner speech. Instead, their thoughts appear as images, emotions, or abstract concepts. They still think, they simply experience thinking differently. Although we can think without language, language does influence the way we think. Words give structure to ideas. Imagine trying to understand a complicated scientific theory without any words for its concepts. It would be much harder. Language allows humans to store knowledge, teach others, and build ideas across generations. A single word can carry an entire world of meaning. Think about words like freedom, justice, or infinity. These are not physical objects you can touch. Language allows our brains to hold and share abstract ideas that would be extremely difficult to communicate otherwise. So, language may not create thought, but it can expand the limits of what we are able to think about. This leads to an even deeper question. If thoughts can exist without words, then what exactly is a thought? Is a thought a sentence, a picture, a feeling, a memory? Scientists still debate this. The human mind is not a simple machine that converts words into ideas. It is a complex network of memories, emotions, perceptions, and patterns constantly interacting with each other. Sometimes your brain reaches a conclusion before you can explain why. You might meet someone and immediately feel that something is wrong. You might solve a problem after sleeping on it. You might suddenly understand something without knowing exactly how you got there. Your brain is always processing information beneath conscious awareness. Words are only the part you can hear. So, can you think without language? Yes. Your mind is far bigger than the words inside your head. Before you speak, before you write, before you explain an idea, your brain is already creating thoughts through images, emotions, memories, and patterns. Language is not the engine of thought. It is the tool that allows thoughts to become visible. And perhaps the most fascinating thing about the human mind is this. The brain created language to describe itself, but it was already thinking long before it had the words to explain what thinking was.